We're live.
Oh, yeah. Alrighty.
Sorry.
It's okay. Welcome back to Orange Chat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful night. Welcome to the final stream I'm going to be doing for about a couple weeks because I'm going to be moving.
Yay.
So, yeah. I'm getting out of one place, moving into a much better environment for my mental health. Well, if you all know me, you know why. So there's that. But anyway, yes, I will be moving. So next week there will be no mystery review. There will be no verses or movie streams or anything like that. Possibly not even videos because I'm going to have to be moving. Really, it's like a flash move. I'm going to have to be moving from one place to another. I got to get all this stuff set up. I got to get all the stuff cleaned up. I got to get all that shit moved out. And yeah, it is going to be a mess. So I just want y'all to let y'all know that I will be taking the rest of that week off after the move is done so that I can also recharge the old batteries, you know? So with that out of the way, welcome to the final installment of the Die Hard live discussion series on the playlist of the Die Hard reviews and discussion streams. We will be discussing A Good Day to Die Hard. And for anybody who knows a little bit of history, this is nothing to do with Die Hard, but it happens to do with the words die and hard. Leonardo da Vinci actually did a non-anatomically correct description of what happens when a person dies with an erection. So, yeah. We all know that guy was ahead of his time, but who knew that there was going to be movies called Die Hard back in the 1600s? But anyway, how you doing, Soul Assassin? Good to see you. So yes, I love that freaking profile pic, dude. Dirge, yeah, that is just awesome. He was one of my favorite characters in the Clone Wars from Genndy Tartakovsky. But yes, A Good Day to Die Hard. Now, a lot of people give this movie flack, which I believe is semi-deserved, but also mostly undeserved. Because even though this movie has some flaws in it and whatnot, I still believe that it does have the McClane formula, so to speak. And I think that it is still well done. And I got to pick up something that I dropped. There we go. So one person actually gave a good, honest critique. Typical Orange Chat. I show up and he's talking about erections. Yeah, Soul Assassin. But yeah, so a lot of people, or one person. Let me actually pull it up on my phone here. It was from the brief review that I do before every stream. Let me see if I can find it. I believe it was Skirmitar, yeah. So Skirmitar actually is like, nah, 5 out of 10 at best for me. Not because of Jai Courtney. I liked him in the movie. It's a boring story. The non-existent protagonist. You mean Bruce Willis? I think he might have meant antagonist because it's not really 100% defined who the antagonist is because it also changes the antagonist in this movie. So Bruce Willis acting the bored face like he just wants to be over with the movie. Although I was excited about the film because that was said, or what was said to be happening in Moscow, that was shot, or it was shot in Hungary, in Budapest, we regularly went to peek with friends near the filming. We were so hyped, and we came out to the cinema very disappointed. Out of the cinema very disappointed. And yeah, that's a valid criticism, to be 100% honest. I mean, yeah, you go in, if you don't like the movie, you feel let down. I mean, it's really not. I mean, I've gone into movies, I felt let down, believe me, over the last few years. It's hard not to feel let down by some movies, especially of franchises that you've grown up loving since you were 2 years old. I mean, But yeah, that's a valid criticism. And you know what? Some people go in with high hopes. Nowadays, just go in with very little. That's basically how you can enjoy movies nowadays. But so we get the thing started. Basically, this movie takes place in Moscow, in Russia, and also later on in Chernobyl. But the reason why they wouldn't have been able to shoot it in Russia, well, let's be fair, folks. Russia is not a place that you want to go shooting an American movie that makes Russia look like it's not its best self, shall we say? Wouldn't you agree?
They wouldn't let that.
Yeah.
That's not. I like to say about Russia is that they are the biggest non-communist communist country in the world. They have learned to embrace parts of capitalism, but they're still run very much like a communist country. And one of the things about communist countries is that if it looks bad or makes the country look bad, it doesn't even matter if it's in a movie,
Mm-hmm.
then it doesn't go. I mean, China's like that, North Korea, think about it. So you gotta remember that.
Yeah. Also, your audio is kind of dipping in and out as you talk.
Okay, hold on just a second. Let me see if I can let me back out and I'll be right back, okay?
Okie dokie. So we're going to just wait for him to come back, and then we're gonna. And while I'm actually waiting for him, I'll actually plug in my laptop so it is charging correctly. I had to learn how to finagle this the right way because, well, otherwise it won't. There we go. Yeah. Yes, it is a slow day today, Soul Assassin. It really is. Now, let's see if this is charging correctly. Yes, it is. Excellent. Yeah. So, and device not connected.
You're coming across really staticky.
But sure, I'm just trying to see what happens.
Yeah, you're really robotic.
And there he is.
Oh, and now he's gone. Well, well, while we're waiting for him to come back, I will give my impression of this movie is that if it was anything other than Die Hard, I think the movie would have been received a lot better. Now, when I say received, I mean in general. It made its money back. Made 3 times its budget. I think it made just over 300,000. I think it was 90. 300 million, and it was 90 million. I think was what the budget was. Oh, you're back.
Am I coming in clear?
Yes, you are. I was just saying that.
Budget and returns.
Yeah, well, and what I said before that is that I like this movie, but the problem really is that I think it suffers from having the name Die Hard on it.
That is explain a little bit more.
I think the last 2 movies it did, I think, tried to capture a little bit of the Jason Bourne, John Wick type thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, and it's very difficult though, because when the first 3 came out, it was all the same. It all fit in this genre of action movie.
Yeah,
and it was 90s action movie, so it was like a cut and paste. We're gonna keep the same ideas, but we're gonna change the story.
Yeah.
They actually, with this one, had to come up with a complete new concept of how to shoot these films and deliver a Die Hard film at the same time.
Yeah.
So there are moments when you watch it and you're like, now that's Die Hard. And then there's other moments you're like, this is
Yeah.
weird. I mean, like um, and I'm sorry I'm getting ahead of this because I know we're gonna break this down pretty much scene by
Mhm.
scene. But when he first sees his son when he's in the van and he goes up and he says, "Hey, Jack, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
That just didn't feel like a Die Hard. That feels like a different movie. It's
Yeah.
not John McClane. I mean, it
Yeah.
just doesn't feel like John McClane because the whole time leading up to that, he almost looks like a fish out of water.
Oh, he's very
He
much a
just
fish out of water.
wait, yeah, but I mean, he's just kind of walking around aimlessly. Doesn't say a word. Doesn't do. It just I don't know.
Well,
But go
that's
ahead.
the way I see that part. The way I see
You're breaking up
that part
again.
is
Uh,
he's basically using all the wits he has gotten over the years. He's observing what's going on around him. Ah, dang it.
no, you're fine. You're fine now.
Okay, am I clear now?
Yes.
Apparently not. Okay,
No, you're fine.
alrighty.
Yeah.
The way that I see it now is that he's basically he wouldn't go in. Then he's noticing then he's noticing his surroundings. He's noticing that he just has that gut feeling as a detective, you know? But yeah, starting off at the beginning, am I still coming in clear?
Yep, you're fine.
Okay. Basically, it's Russian politics. There's news things that are reporting on a Russian billionaire, Yuri Komarov, and how a defense minister candidate, Viktor Chigarin, has him locked up over some sort of file. And the CIA gets wind of it and has Jack McClane go undercover to get close to Komarov. Jack goes to a club, kills somebody, and gets arrested. So then he tells his lawyer, I'll testify saying that it was Komarov who hired me, just put me in the room with him. And it's like, well shit. So McClane is shooting targets or doing target practice at the station. Perfect center mass shots. And then he gets a file from another detective who was searching for his son. They find out he's in Russia. He's got a lot of charges tacked on. It's basically his son and he have been estranged for a long time, for a few years. Kind of like what happened with Lucy in the last one. And so basically, I don't know if, because I watched the extended edition with 4 extra minutes. And after he hears the news and whatnot, he goes up and he empties a mag straight into headshots. Perfect headshot.
You're jumping and skipping out. Sorry.
As he's doing it, he's like, God damn it. You know, loves to yell.
Oh yeah. All right. Hey, Soul Assassin, how you doing today? I only seen the fourth and fifth movie. Well, the fourth movie I've only seen once. This one I think I've seen two or three times, but they're just not. I don't know. They're not as bankable as, or not as rewatchable. Maybe I should say, as the original three. I am doing well. Thank you, Soul. Appreciate it. Um, the I don't know. I just think it's really difficult when you have a proven commodity that works in one way, and then, like I said, you have to rewrite and rethink the whole thing. And I liked your comment there that he went from an everyman to a superhero. He did kind of do that. And these movies took on almost like a Expendables, um, just without as much action. But it was very much like an Expendables movie after uh, for the fourth and fifth one. But I like them. I mean, I think my father can't remember if he saw this one, but my father was a big, big Die Hard fan, and I think he really liked the fourth one, if I remember right. Oh, doing well.
Am I coming in clearly?
Yes, now you are again.
Okay, dokie. Let's get back to this.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway,
You were right at the part where the assassination attempt. I think that was about the last major thing we heard. Oh no, you talked about John McClane.
yeah, John McClane was learning where his son was, and then I watched the extended edition, and it's only 4 minutes extra. But
yeah,
I don't know if in the theatrical he actually does finish up his shooting at the range or at the target practice, where he just empties it straight into the head, and as he's shooting it, he's screaming out, "God damn it! God damn it!"
yeah. No,
That is McClane.
Yeah, I know it is.
That's 100% McClane, because he's realizing his son is now basically in the biggest pickle of his life.
Well, he doesn't understand it yet, and I think that's the thing. He's trying to figure that out. It's like, that's not my son. That's not the. I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about the incorporation of the kids in the last two?
The incorporation of the kids in the last two, I felt was interesting because it did make it more of a family integration. I mean, if they do another Die Hard movie, I think it's going to be Holly again, or Holly would be in the last or in this very, very next one.
Actually, we can talk about that after we get done, if I have time. I can give you a rundown of what I've heard. Bruce Willis is trying to get done.
Oh wow! So there's another one, but yeah, I honestly thought that it was a good touch to have his kids in these, because it shows you that his kids are still present in his life, and well, them. Am I freaking coming in clearly, or is
this thing
starting to robot again?
No, you're fine. I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Hey, Happy Dinosaur. Oh, I don't hear you anymore. I don't hear you at all. I don't have an issue with them using his kids in this. I just wish they would have had a better way of integrating them.
Okay. It just
You're coming back now a little bit.
making sure.
But I would have thought that they would have done a better job of integrating it. But because this one just feels like they kind of just throw in his son as a just, hey, look, happy, happenstance. I can't remember much about the fourth one again, but I believe it was very much like that with his daughter. So hopefully we get Orange back here relatively quick. Well, don't want to go too far ahead of where he's wanting to be. Happy Dino, how you doing? And Jai Courtney was an interesting pick for this. No, I don't disagree with Orange about Holly being back in it, but really, hopefully, whenever he moves, his signal up, it gets better. But that's true. They did. I mean, I don't mind the guy. I think he does a good job. I like him as Captain Boomerang. So there are things I like him in. He did an all right job in what was it? The dystopian future one. Yeah, he did good in that. What was it? Oh, I almost had it again. Yep. Divergent. There it is. I liked him in Divergent. Of course, in that show went way off. Ooh. Hello.
Okay, let's hope that this actually works, because seriously getting sick of this Chromebook giving me problems. All right, am I coming in clear?
Right now, yes.
Okay, so he's now basically in Russia. Let me get my talking points back in there. And I love his attempt at speaking Russian. He's trying to ask to get to the courthouse, and then his cabbie. And it's pretty freaking hilarious that cabbies everywhere are freaking talkative and chatty and whatnot. And happy day to you, or Happy Dino. Also, I believe happy birthday is in order for Happy Dino. So, everybody in the chat, wish him happy birthday, I believe.
How old is he? How many millions of years old is he?
I believe he is 65 million years and 30 some odd something.
Huh?
But yeah, he's like, you speak Russian? He's like, how'd I do? Well, you asked for a very large bag of hair, and trying to get the Tenskaya plot or courthouse.
Mhm.
But I got it. I'm like, oh my gosh. So he's like, you American? Yeah, New York, Big Apple. And so the guy starts singing freaking Frank Sinatra. And I'm like,
Yep.
oh dear God.
Mm. But I like that part though, because he says, you let me sing. Uh-oh. I think we lost you again. Happy Dino says I'm 65,022 years old. Ooh, so like that's another milestone, isn't it? Like when you're 21, so you just were able to drink for your 65th millionth time. You're legally 65 million times legal to drink. Beautiful. And Epime, is that how you say it? Sorry if I'm butchering it. Good to see you. I'll try to keep this going as best as I can with Orange Hat having issues. And I don't want to go into the breakdown because it's his thing. I will go back to the Jai Courtney thing. You're absolutely right. Yes, he can. He can, Soul. You're absolutely right. But Jay Courtney was good in a lot of different things. I think, I'm trying to think who it's in Terminator Salvation. Was that guy else? No, not oh god, now I can't remember his name either. My brain's just all over the place. Not Batman. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the guy that was half Terminator, half human. Which, interestingly enough, they did incorporate in Dark Fate. I don't know if that's right. He did play Kyle Reese. Thank you. That's right. So he was in it. Sam Worthington did play yeah, that's what I thought. I thought they were both in that. I mean, you think about it, and it's not the first Australian invasion of the movies. Way, way, way back when. And I forgot her name. My God, my brain is just out of it. Work. Okay, I'm gonna shut up again and let you go. Just run right into it. Frank Sinatra.
Yeah. So I disconnected the camera and the mic to see if that is going to help. Hopefully that will. And if it happens again, I'm going over to my goddamn Kindle.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah. Hey, just breathe and we'll go through it. It's all good.
Yeah. So basically, the guy sings and and then he's like, the traffic is bad at the Garden Ring. Now a lot of people might think that this is a mundane line, that this is a mundane part of the movie, but it's actually a setup for for something later. The Garden Ring is basically the worst traffic area in Moscow. Mm-hmm. And so the guy's like, the courthouse is just two blocks up ahead. You might as well walk. And he's like, okay, what do I owe you? No money. You let me sing. You let me sing. And it's like, no money.
And then he continues to sing. And it's like John sits there and he's like, okay, I'm going to sit here and not make it look like I'm running for my life. Because, I mean, you see it in his eyes. He's just like, okay, I'm going to walk out slowly so it doesn't look like I want to get the fuck away from this.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, he actually encouraged him in the cab. He's like, I think you got a good singing voice. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude, don't encourage somebody who has a shitty singing voice. So he goes to walk, and while this is all happening, You also see that Komarov is in this, or is in the vehicle, the transport with Jack McClane, and he's just Jack McClane just keeps looking at him. It's like, dude, you're looking a little bit rapey there, man. That's the wonderful thing about me, folks. I'm not monetized, so I can actually say words that other
You're starting to break up again. Grab the Kindle.
monetized.
Grab the Kindle. Soviet Russia. I feel like whoever wrote the script for A Good Day to Die Hard did so after watching Dark Knight Rises the year before. Secret Daughter is actually the main bad guy and all. Yeah, it's kind of similar to that. Again, I was saying earlier that the problem with the last two Die Hard movies is they came at like well after the original three, and we were in different movies then. We were in a time of Jason Bourne getting to John Wick, so they were going for that kind of more realistic, in a sense, fighting and things like that. And I think they just got held up too long on the last two that they did these. I mean, if they had done them in the mid to late 90s, because I'm trying to remember, this one came out, let's see here, Good Day to Die Hard was 2013, and I think Live Free or Die Hard was like 4 or 5 years before that. Really? So, I mean, did they figure that out, Soul? Yeah, the shaky camera, very much so. Did they figure out that that's what it was? He got a strike and they demonetized him? I'd say they're going to probably have to figure that out, because if they didn't let people know that up front, I don't think that they can. I don't think they can go and screw people over like that. I say that, but I'm not YouTube, so I have no clue. Well, I know he said he got demonetized. I gotta call him and see what he says, but you gotta be careful. I mean, I'm not gonna say he did anything wrong, but YouTube is fickle, and you gotta play that, gotta play it close to the vest on it lots of times. Everything is about realism these days. It's like Hollywood forgot that movies are meant to be an escape from reality. Yes, it's in some senses, but understand we also live in a place where people take that escapism out of it by diving too deep into it. Orange, are we on the Kindle?
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes, are you on the Kindle?
Yes, I'm on the Kindle.
Good.
Hopefully
okay,
that works.
All right. Listen, I'm gonna say this before it gets to it, before it might do it again. If you're having issues right now with your internet or something like that, if you want to, and I know this may not be what you want to do, but if you would like to reschedule for tomorrow, I don't have anything planned. I am more than willing to do that for you.
If it continues to give me problems, I will. But
okay,
hopefully it won't give me too many problems now.
Yeah. All right. So he's gotten out and he's heading to the courthouse.
So yeah, he's heading to the courthouse. And now I can actually pull up my talking points on my Chromebook. So let me just get those back up. Frame talking. Oh, god dang it. I forgot. I cleared the cache. Docs. Google.com. But yeah, he's walking to the courthouse. He sees his son get off the bus. And I'm still coming in clear?
Yes, you're fine.
Okay, good. He sees his son coming off the bus. And he has to hang back with the crowd because, well, they do things differently in Russia. Now, then you also see three other vehicles, three cars trying to get into the courthouse after he gets put into a cage in the courtroom with Komarov. And these three cars go in, and then there's this big-ass armored vehicle with some bad guys in it. And the three bomb cars go off as the trial is about to start. Now, before this all before this all happened, you see this, or there was a scene where there was a woman getting kind of semi-intimate with Chigarin. She's a young woman too, and he's basically tasking her to kill Komarov before he can testify to anything. I just saw Epime de Oz's comment. Are you sure you're not in Australia? It would explain the quality of your internet at least. I don't think it's my internet. It's actually, my internet was at full strength. It's at full strength right now. It's the Chromebook. This Chromebook is frogging ancient.
I would probably go and just wipe it clean down to scratch and keep very minimal stuff on it, and then it will probably at least be okay. I could be wrong, but most of the time, wiping it completely clean might help it.
Yeah.
Get with LDG on that.
Yeah.
He might be able to give you a lot of different things that you can do with it, maybe.
Well, my one of the wonderful things when I move in to the next place is I'm getting a much better laptop. So, yeah. That might help. So, anyway, she does, or basically this is her assassination attempt assignment, and they blow open the side of the courthouse, and Jai Courtney's character, Jack McClane Jr., uses this to get Yuri out of there, and this is when McClane sees his son, and he's like, the hell is going on here? So, as Jack is trying to escape with Yuri, and he's like, who are you? Your new best friend. And then he has to stop. He's like, Dad? Jack! The part where
what are you doing here, John?
He's like, what are you doing here, John? You can't be here, Jack. And so he's like, what the hell are you doing? So then he turns around and actually points a gun at his father. He's like, oh, really? You're going to shoot your father?
Let's get some context here for those people who don't know, which I think most of the people who are going to be watching know this, but
yeah,
he hasn't talked with his son since like the last movie with his daughter. And I think it was similar to with his daughter, wasn't it?
Yes, they were basically, they don't like him because he found the job more important than they are, or than them.
Them and his wife and so on and so forth. Yeah, okay. I just want to make that clear out there for anybody who might watch the replay, if they don't know this movie, that he and his son are estranged from each other. So that's why you get the John. But it's also because he's in business mode, which I'll let you get to right now. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Another thing about Jack is he is CIA, and he's also, when you're doing operations in on foreign soil, you're on a clock, and that clock will not stop for unexpected things like, oh, I don't know, your dad showing up and trying to freaking talk to you. It's like, what?
Sorry.
So yeah, it's like, fuck.
Did you see what? I'm sorry. Did you see what?
FMA, yeah, the Oz said. He's like, I think a better name for a good day to die hard would be "Stop or My Dad Will Shoot." Fucking priceless.
That's genius. I like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, that is great, dude. That is freaking awesome. And so, oh crap! Now my mom is texting me, and I gotta stop for mama. So hold on 1 second. I gotta pause this, or I gotta mute myself.
Okay. No, that's beautiful. That's really funny there. I gave myself a pat on the back for that one. Please do. Yeah. Going back though, like I was saying, because I don't want to do the whole rundown. That's, like I said, that's Orange's deal. This most definitely, these two movies are good movies. They've made their money and things like that, but they are a completely different set of movies from what the original Die Hard franchise were. And again, that's because they waited so long between them. Let me see here.
Okay, I'm back.
What year did Live Free or Die Hard come out? 2007. So yeah.
Yeah.
And Die Hard with a Vengeance was, that's what I thought. So there's 12 years between that, and then there was 6 years between the fourth and fifth one. And that placed it like a... go ahead.
Also, something that I wanted to touch on, but I didn't have my talking points up. Back in the shooting range area of the police or in the police station where you see McClane for the first time, they had a. This is something that I don't like in any movie, folks. It's not political bias. I don't want it in any movie. I wouldn't even want my own political aisle to be in a movie, to be 100% honest. But yeah, they also had a stupid insert of Barack Obama's portrait on the wall, and I'm like, who the frick cares? Honestly,
yeah, but that is standard, prototypical, across the board government.
Yeah, at the time,
city.
Yeah.
Well, it still is. I mean, even.
But then Hollywood, yeah. But even did you see them pull that crap? Did you see them do it for the other side?
It's in complete. It's not in the right place. Those things are normally placed in chief's offices or out in the front lobbies. That's typically where they place it. It's not going to be placed where they have it in the movie. I will give you that.
Yeah. It was just a dumb insert. Is basically what it was. Basically, it's like, hey, this guy was the president or this guy was the president at the time, and we care why. Honestly, why do we care? The guy that drops him off at the airport, I could have sworn I've seen one cut where it was his daughter that drops him off at the airport, but it was actually somebody else that did it. And I'm like, would have been so great to actually have her back in, like go get him, get the family back together.
I kind of wondered, it's been so long since I'd seen this. I was trying to remember if she was in this at any point. I'm really surprised when they decided to incorporate the kids that they didn't incorporate even the like in 3 in Die Hard with a Vengeance. I think they got her to do. You could hear her voice, and I think that was her on the thing, and that was all she was willing to do.
Yeah.
And even that would have done well because she's an integral part. She's the reason why they have kids, and he's going after his kids or working with his kids during these movies.
Mm-hmm.
she's still very relevant to what's going on. So I do agree with you.
And Holly actually is mentioned in this one because she's the one that basically had or told John, find out what the hell's going on. Where's our son?
Mm-hmm.
And so then there's the whole back in Russia thing. There's John or Jack pulls a gun on John. Then there's the car chase, and freaking McClane grabs a kind of big no back truck and starts chasing after him. He gets flipped over, and then he's trying to get people to stop their cars. They don't want to stop. It's like, yeah, dude, you're in Russia. This isn't the U.S. So he grabs onto the Jeep that smacks into him, and then the guy gets out and starts yelling at him, and he just decks him. Do you think I understand a word you're saying? When I saw that for the first time, I saw these movies on DVD or Blu-ray. I had to pause because I almost pissed myself laughing when he did that, where he just does a freaking left haymaker and just knocks the dude out. Do you think I understand a word you're saying? I'm like, holy shit. What did you think of that scene?
I mean, I like it. I like a lot of that whole chase scene.
Yeah.
It's different for him in a little bit, but it's also somewhat reminiscent of Die Hard with Vengeance.
Yeah.
When he's running through the crowds and stuff. I mean, there are glimpses of Die Hard in this.
In this, yes.
I think, like, I can't remember if it's Epme or Soul that said it earlier about the shaky cams. I think it was Soul that said it. But again, this was shot in a different way because that was what was popular. They wanted these movies to do well, and they did do well. But in that scene and the whole chase scene and stuff, it's still very what he does is very Die Hard, especially like you just said there, where the guy gets out and he's like, I don't know what the guy thinks he's gonna do, but he's coming. I just love how he just sits there and he's like, okay, then whap,
boom, yep.
It's just like it is a good scene, and that is very Die Hard.
Yeah, that's very McClane. It's like, dude, he's not going to put up with any bullshit right now. And one of the things that he keeps on reiterating, almost annoyingly, is he's like, I'm on vacation. God damn it. But he has to do what he has to do. Now, there is the next scene in this car chase, because I'm not going to go over every fucking detail. We'd be here all night. And we've had enough interruptions with my stupid ass internet. McClane driving off the bridge. Fun, but nuts. I mean, that part was not believable. But then again, McClane on the back of an F-35 wasn't believable either.
No, there's a lot of things in this movie, and that's one of the things that gets called out for is the unbelievability. That started with Die Hard with a Vengeance, because that whole the cable trick in Die Hard with a Vengeance, you die from that.
There was also actually Die Hard 2, where he ejects from a freaking plane before the cockpit goes up.
Yeah. I mean, but that's a little more believable because that's the whole purpose of an injection seat. But
true. But yes, there is a little bit of a disconnect in reality when it came there.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, it was pretty badass to see him just somehow getting down there without getting
the
himself
problem
killed.
I also have, though, with the chase sequence is the fact that he's never been to Moscow, and these guys are obviously ahead of him by some distance, and he's figuring out how to catch up with them. That I was like, how is he figuring out where these guys are at?
I know, right? But then again, they do have a huge vehicle that's very conspicuous.
That's true. And they're not bothering with trying to hide where they're going because they're running over everything that's in there.
Yeah, because over in Moscow, well, the thugs basically do not give a shit about the police, and which actually is shown in this. Now he derails the pursuit, and in epic fashion, but also when he's driving off the bridge and getting down onto the road, you see this woman scream out, and he's like, "Sorry, ma'am." I'm like, oh my god, that was actually pretty freaking funny. But so then Jack, all during this time, he's trying to get into contact with his CIA buddies, and they're like, the window was closed. Go to Plan B, safe house. And there was this one young lady. She's like, I know this asset. He doesn't have problems like this. Something must be really wrong. And it's like, yeah, his father got involved. But anyway, he's hitting his freaking wheel. He's like, God damn it, John. God damn it. I mean, he has his father's temper.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically Jai Courtney pulling a Bruce Willis. He's like, God damn it, John.
Well, yeah, because he's sitting there beating the damn wheel and everything. I mean, that's... Yeah.
And then he picks up his father because his father is getting shot on the bridge. He's like, because the guys opened fire on the police when the police got there. They're like, shut your holes and sit back, you little bitches. You're not involved in this right now. So, I mean, that's how mafia these guys basically are. They're not even the mafia, but they shoot at the police like they're the mafia. It's like, yeah, don't get involved. Stay the fuck away. Mm-hmm. And usually police in communist countries will actually step aside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What Soul Assassin said.
Sorry, I was getting a drink. What did he say? Next, Fast and Furious will have John McClane in it. I'm calling it. I would love to see that. Honestly, I would.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're also rated PG-13, so you're only allowed to have one fucking. So it'd be like, yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers!
I get it.
Yep. So then he gets his father, or he picks up his father, and they have a nice little talk back and forth about how his father is just such a deadbeat dad, basically. He's like, first time for everything, and yada, yada, yada. So then they get to the safe house, and Cole Hauser, this actor who has played in Riddick and Fast and the Furious 2, and that's about it as far as I am aware. Or actually, it was Pitch Black, not Riddick. But yeah, Cole Hauser. He is in the movie for like 5 minutes, yet he gets a mainstay casting position in the freaking movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you do realize he's only in the freaking movie for like 5 freaking minutes? I mean, he is literally shot in the head in like the 5th minute 0 second mark of how long he's been on the freaking show or in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how he's like, hey, McClane, shut up. He's like, this is what you're doing, John or Jack. Freaking, you're like the 007 from Plainsfield, New Jersey. I'm like, what the hell, man? So they're trying to get Yuri to cooperate to get they promised that. What's the one promise they give every freaking Russian? We'll get you out of Russia.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, seriously, that trope again? And so he's like, I want my daughter to come with me, though. So they're like, okay, fine. And then a raid party shows up, shoots Yuri in the arm, and he barely freaking flinches.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually one incident. I'm like, dude, I get adrenaline, but you would have felt that even with I've been on adrenaline highs. I've had situations where I've been in shock and on adrenaline, and if a new injury happens, you feel it. You feel it. I mean, if it's other injuries that the adrenaline is kicking into, you don't feel those. But if it's a new one, like if you got shot, yeah, you'll feel that.
Oh yeah.
So
for sure.
Then freaking John just picks up like a freaking M60. It just starts blowing away everybody. He's like, motherfucker, I'm vacation. And I'm like, yeah, everybody's dead. And he's like, I'm on vacation. And I'm like, damn. But also I
think by now he's just he's just mad because he's
Oh,
always
yeah.
on vacation when this shit happens.
I know, right? I mean, it's like, oh my God. His son raises it perfectly at the end of the movie. It's like, do you go looking for trouble or does trouble always find you? After all these years, I'm still asking myself that question.
Mm-hmm.
So they escape there and they're trying to escape. And I love the line by Karmarov. He's like, he does realize how old we are, right? And I'm like, what? Good point. So then they get to the Ukrainian hotel because that's where the file, quote unquote, is. And I'm like, and then his daughter shows up. He called his daughter in the safe house, and he's like, go to the place where your mother and I shared our first dance. So yeah, she shows up there, and John's having some bad vibes. He's getting bad juju. He's getting bad vibes. He's like, sun's not smelling right here, John. He's like, would you shut up? I'm a professional here. Everything's fine. And his son's not believing him. It's like, dude, your father has been at this for how fucking long? Just because you're a super spy does not mean that you should ignore your father's gut instinct. How often has it been right? I mean, seriously, in all 4 movies before this, how often has his gut been right? Every freaking time. Almost to Gary Stu level when it comes to his gut alone. But anyway, so Jack's over with Yuri to try to get it out of a hidden area, and so John decides to play detective. You doing all right? She's like, I'm fine. He's like, how'd you get over here so fast? And she's like, she tries stumbling for the garden ring. Oh, the garden ring. I heard that's the worst place to drive it. So, or also, during that time when they were trying to escape in the car chase, they shut down the garden ring. So it's like, he now knows this is all bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So then the bad guys all show up, and so Yuri gets double. You would expect a double cross at this point because you also recognize that Komarov's daughter was seen with Shigarin earlier, getting all fresh with him and whatnot. So the double cross was expected.
Where was it? Who said it? I think it might have been Epme. Where was
John has taken on terrorist special forces, foreign mercenaries, and rogue intelligence agencies. Yeah, he has.
Epme said it earlier. He says, I feel like whoever wrote the script for A Good Day to Die Hard did so after watching Dark Knight Rises the year before.
Yep.
Secret Daughter is actually the main bad guy and all.
Yeah. Yep. You're right. That it does sort of give off that Dark Knight Rises kind of vibe. Except that there is another twist later on that you don't, or that you honestly didn't see coming. But
I can agree.
Yeah. So then they get John on his now, or they get John and Jack on their knees, and they start talking. It's like, if you guys were gonna kill these idiots, you should have just frickin' pulled the trigger. I mean, the McClanes get out of everything. Do you not understand? McClane literally, I mean, in some pseudo quasi way, translates into you're gonna frickin', or I'm gonna frickin' escape, and then I'm gonna kill you. That's what McClane means in the badass language. Be right back, Orange. Okay, Soul Assassin. I mean, yeah. It's like, dude, you gave him a freaking opening. And also, John did have a knife gun tucked away in his boot heel. So, yeah. So they get out of there, and they're like, Jack, I just want to let you know, no, you are not pulling that we're about to die shit when we're about to die. He's like, I wasn't about to say that. So they freaking just shoot out all the glass above them, and the bad guys escape and the daughter escapes into a freaking Kasaka looking chopper across the way. And it's like, I recognize those choppers. Those are like the standard Russian choppers. You can tell by the two things that kind of look like eyes on top of the chopper. You see it in Metal Gear Solid. I think it actually was a Kasaka. But anyway, it's a gunship. It's basically a gunship. It's heavy ordnance.
It's a Mil Mi-24 attack helicopter.
Well, then it's definitely not the K, or it's definitely not a KA. But anyway, they still have the same double things on top that kind of look like eyes. But anyway,
Mil Moscow.
Yeah.
Helicopter plant. That's who's been making it since 1972.
Oh my gosh, the next Epi and again, the next F or Fast Furious will be set in China. It'll star Jackie Chan and Donnie Yen. But yeah, Hind choppers. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, Epi. The Hinds. But yeah, so they're flying off. And then they decide to come back. I'm like, you guys literally just got away scot-free. Why would you go back and poke the hornet's nest? They're trying to basically no loose ends kind of bullshit. Doesn't really work. They escape, and that's what
you were just about ready to say. Poke the bear.
Poke the bear. Poke the hornet's nest. Yeah,
well, they're in Russia, which was
poke the bear works better. So they go back to poke the bear, and well, it doesn't work. So anyway, they get away, and so there's a piece of rebar. Jack has a piece of rebar in his skin from jumping out the windows and onto scaffolding and whatnot. And I love the pep talk that his father gives him, because right now, Jack is having a pity party. He's like, I can't believe you screwed up this bad. I am burnt in this country. I have no contact. It's like, so what are you going to, let's go home. We'll go home. You can get your little CIA slippers on. I can get you some toy sets. And he's just fucking egging him on. And he's like, all right, fine. So what are we going to do? We're going to kill everyone. Basically, he's like, we're going to freaking stop them. We're going to kill them. And we're going to go home. We're McClane's, goddammit. This is how we do it. So, it's like, wow. Yeah, okay. So I love that. And he's like, all right, now just pull it. He's like, are you sure? Yeah, just shut up and pull it. Pull it. And he's like, okay, on 3. 1, 2, rips it out. And it's like, oh my God, dude. I'm like, yeah, that would probably sting a bit. But also, they don't cover how they tended to those wounds. If you pull a piece of rebar out of that area, you're going to be bleeding for a while. That looked like lower abdomen. You could have nicked something. So it's like, how the hell are you still walking? You'd be bleeding out with every step you took. You'd be pasty white by the time you got to that Chechen club. Because, yeah, they actually do go to a Chechen club and steal a freaking car full of freaking guns. He's like, how did you know all these cars would be here? That's a Chechen club. They're not guns aren't allowed in the club, so all these idiots leave them all out in the cars like a bunch of idiots. It's like, they in the extended edition, I don't know if it's in the theatrical, they check like 4 or 5 different cars. There's one car with literally a body wrapped in plastic. They have another one with just handguns. They have another one with a bunch of freaking drugs. And then they have the one with all the freaking guns. And I'm like, damn. That was the perfect laugh moment. And then they're driving to Chernobyl because that's where Chernobyl that's where the file is said to be. So, they have a nice little discussion in the car about the past and how Jack burnt down like a whole freaking borough in southern New Jersey. It's like, holy shit, dude. Then he also got caught doing something else and whatnot. He's like, when was the last time we were in a car together? I had to bail you out. We had to put out a second mortgage on the house just to bail your ass out. You burned down the lower half of New Jersey. So, holy shit. So they got to go to Chernobyl. And here's the thing, folks. Chernobyl, to this day, is still freaking radioactive.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where the movie completely just goes nuts. They don't have radioactive suits, the McClanes. Everybody else does, and then they take off the radioactive suits because they have a compound in there that sucks all the or that neutralizes the radiation in that vault. But it's like, what about the rest of the place? You guys are literally being irradiated every second you are there. You would be feeling it. Folks, when you're being heavily irradiated, it literally feels like you're being microwaved, like you are being cooked. So this is where it did kind of dip into the what the hell, go for broke, kill it all, and whatnot. So yeah, I love the McClanes are preparing for battle, and while Yuri's looking for the file, and I love the line from freaking McClane's like, "Let's go kill some motherfuckers." And I'm like, yes, that's McClane for you. Now, while everyone else, yeah, I did already cover that. Komarov, it turns out there's a triple cross. The guy that kidnapped Komarov and who was working with his daughter is bitching at his daughter, and suddenly Komarov just blows his head off. And it's like, oh, dang. This actually I didn't see when I first saw this movie. So it's a triple cross. You think the Chigarin political guy is the bad guy. Turns out Komarov's the bad guy. And his daughter and he are the actual ones in charge, and Yuri actually calls Chigarin using his underling's phone, and he basically you see this big burly masseuse guy come in and just choke out Chigarin. It's like, yep. Because now, for added context, folks, Chigarin and Komarov were the ones that were responsible for the meltdown of Chernobyl back in 86, I believe it was. Or 81 or 80.
No, it was, hold on.
Yeah. Chernobyl meltdown.
It was 86, yeah.
Yep, 86. And they were basically siphoning the uranium from the factories, and that's what caused the meltdown. And they were planning on using it, but then Chigarin got greedy and had Yuri imprisoned for decades. But anyway, McClanes show up while they're loading up the uranium, and they find Yuri, and Yuri's they've already put it together basically that Yuri's rotten to the core. And he's like, I just need to go get the file. And he's like, these things are bulletproof, right? Yeah. Boom! He stops him and he's like, what the hell is going on? And so they ask him, and he's like, you're the one really behind this, aren't you, Yuri? And he's like, yeah, basically. But he then refers to John McClane as a detective. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when did John tell him that he was a detective?
I don't think he ever does, but...
Yeah. I mean, he says he's a cop. Yeah. But I don't think he ever said detective.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. So then there's the vault shootout while they're while they're leading Yuri out at gunpoint. He also used his radio to alert his daughter that the McClanes were there. And I love this. While they're stuck behind pillars and whatnot, he signals to his son, give me one of those grenades. And so it's like, dude, you do not want to do this in that area. because, well, radiation. So he kills one guy with one of the grenades, and it just freaking burns out the whole place. He's like, Subtle, or his son's like, Subtle, what the hell is it? What the hell's in those goddamn grenades? So then McClane goes after the helicopter, gets onto the helicopter, and his son goes after Komarov, who's going up to a roof, and there's a shootout on the roof, and McClane's on the chopper trying to get through the door to the cockpit, but it's not getting any luck. So then he decides to crash the helicopter because they're starting to shoot at his son. And it's like, I just love it. He gets into and he's like, things we do for our kids. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. He just says it. He's like, okay, time for the line. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. So he drives it out of the back of the frickin' hind, and it's basically spinning around. And Yuri is like, too bad your father won't live to see you promoted. He's like, neither will you. And he just throws Yuri off the frickin' roof, and Yuri gets diced. And you see his daughter react to it. It's like, how would she have noticed or known that her father got killed at that exact second? She's looking forward when the tail end is what killed him. So, not the best kind of thing. But I'm pretty sure she could put two and two together on the spin when she doesn't see him anymore.
I hope so.
Yeah, so then she tries killing him and goes kamikaze. She's like, she just takes control of the damn thing and is about to ram it into the damn building. It's like, you're nuts, lady. I mean, seriously, you are nuts. But, she loves her father. She loves her papa. And it doesn't work out very well. She sees them run or jump out of the building in one of the slowest slow-mos I've ever freaking seen in a movie. And so they crash, and the chopper blows up. And it's like, damn, man. And so they're in the pool, which also would probably pool out radiation too, because, well, water would actually be radioactive. So John is actually now out of the pool while his son is like yelling for his dad. He's like, John, 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 Dad, right here. It's like, you were just waiting for him to say dad, weren't you, you son of a bitch? And he's like, did you just call me dad? No. You're imagining things. You got swimmers here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Getting old man. He's like, yeah, I am getting old. And he's like, but you should call me dad. You should respect your old man. He's like, oh God, it was. So then the ending is, or then it ends. But he also does ask me. He's like, let me ask you something. Do you go looking for trouble, or does it just find you? After all these years, I'm asking myself the same question. And that's basically where it ends. I mean, it ends with a nice pan shot of Chernobyl as the sun is coming up. But and that's basically the end of the movie, folks. But we are going to spend a little bit of time kind of talking about our pros and cons with it. This movie is pretty solid, like I said in the brief review. It's objectively about a 7 because there are problems with it. There are errors with it. I mean, these are glaring errors that should never be in a movie, to be 100%. To be 100% honest. But the movie still does have some quality to it. Like Chris said, this movie does have some Die Hard moments in it, and it's otherwise not Die Hard.
But honestly, it's. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, it suffers from wanting to be Die Hard, and it's just by happenstance that it eventually has parts of Die Hard in it. Literally, I think I said at the beginning of this, it's almost like the Expendables, like an Expendables spinoff. That's the type of character that Bruce Willis is playing in this. There were moments he hits John McClane right on, but then there's other moments it's like, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. You're right. And then there's subjective, where I gave it an 8 out of 10. Because the movie is freaking entertaining from a subjective point of view. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
But there are still problems. I mean, the entire ending sequence makes no sense, because it's like, so are they like dead mush somewhere on a Russian road because they were in an entirely radiated countryside for extended periods of time without any proper protection? I mean, what happened to them? How did they get home? What? I mean, seriously, how did they survive?
But they do that in this movie series. That is one thing that's typical Die Hard. Just pan
they
out,
just let it
movie over.
Yeah.
And you don't know until the next movie comes along, and it's like, okay, I guess they made it somehow.
Yeah, it's like, how the hell do you guys freaking make it without getting cancer or some shit? Pretty sure any cancer you might have had would be long dead after taking a dip in Chernobyl. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But moviegoer, it is freaking turn your brain off excitement. So I gave it about a 9 out of 10. It is actually well done. So moviegoer, it's exciting, it's entertainment, it has the funny beats, it has the serious beats. It's just a freaking turn your brain off, watch some people kicking ass and shooting and blowing some shit up. So yeah, that's why I gave it a higher moviegoer score. Moviegoers always get the higher score, folks. So other than that, I'm going to turn it over to Chris. What was your gripes and scores?
I think I keep bringing it back that this movie suffers from, like I said, an amnesia of what it's supposed to be. And when it does hit those notes, it's almost like it was an accident. It wasn't that they knew that was in Die Hard. It kind of happened. I mean, I don't know. The last two in the series, they're good movies. But again, so many times I say, instead of taking a property that we love and that we expect certain things from, just make a new one. I think Liam Neeson did that with he did Taken, then he did like another one that was similar to Taken, but it was completely it was a different name, and so
I mean, Liam Neeson did all the freaking kind of different kidnapping movies you could make.
But he had multiple different names. Taken was the only one that had multiple entries, I think.
Yeah, Taken. Then there's that one that came out recently that I actually have, Sharpshooter or something like. Sharpshooter or something like that. Marksman.
That's it. Yeah. But there's enough in this movie to like. It is Die Hard. There is Die Hard in it. And like, I think you made a good point. As a moviegoer, if I'm going to go in non-subjectively, just go in, sit down, and enjoy a movie. The movie's done very well. There's a lot of action in it. Its pacing's pretty good. Does it have a thin plot? Is the antagonist really that great? No. But in action movies, you don't have to have a lot. You just have to have enough. And there's enough there. So from a moviegoer standpoint, yeah, it's like an 8.5. You really want to dig at this, and this is going to be weird because I wasn't on last week, and I don't know for sure what I would have rated last week's, but I did watch this over the past couple of days. I've rewatched this one. I'm gonna give it like a 6.5, because when you go in and you're gonna have to really dig at it. Unfortunately, it's got Die Hard on the title, and again, it's not because it's trying to be Die Hard. It's only out of sheer, oh my God, they got something in there that makes sense in Die Hard. Like, for instance, I almost expected the taxi cab driver to come back at some point from the beginning.
That would have been more Die Hard if he had.
Exactly. I mean, even if it was just for instance, when he goes and he ends up at the treasury in Die Hard with a Vengeance, he kind of knows his way around, and he sees people. He's in an area where he understands what's going on. But I don't know. It's that thing of something familiar. Like if he were to end up running through the circle again, and that cab driver is there and says, "Man, you know, let's say he sent what's her name, the chick again, oh
Which
shit,
one?
the Russian chick, daughter.
I forget her name.
Hold on,
That's another
Irina,
problem. She was Irina. Yeah.
Irina. Let's say right when she says that she's just been through the circle. Let's just say that he didn't think back on it right away. Maybe they end up there again, and he sees the cab driver, and he's like, "Dude, I need you to get me here." And he says, "Dude, I told you this is the worst place. Nobody makes it through in less than, whatever." And he stops, and it just pings something. And goes like, "Wait a minute." I don't know. While it's not necessary to reiterate the same thing 3,000 times, Die Hard likes to do that.
Yes, it does.
So I don't know. I mean, I hate to nitpick the movie because it's a good action film, but when you're talking about Die Hard, it suffers from that name. And I think the last one does too. The last one, though, gets more credit because it is a complete different idea. This goes back to more Die Hard as far as you have a person who's your true enemy in this. In the fourth installment, yes, there's a person behind it, but it's really more the cyber side of things, and it's that one at least gets the bonus points for being a little outside of the box.
Yeah, it's throwing McClane into a very different situation that he's not,
and something he's not used to. It's very much fish out of water in that, and I liked that they gave a fresh look at things. But this one, all in all, I like the action. I think the cinematography is fairly good in it. So from a standpoint of an action film, it's good. 8.5 somewhere in there.
Yeah. Okay, those are fair scores. Die Hard 7 Officer Winslow returns to help John.
Hold on, John. Nice. I'm not done with my donut yet.
Yeah, no. The franchise literally will die hard.
It will.
You mean like erection watch? No. Sorry, I had to do that to you, Soul Assassin. But yeah, The Marksman I Hear is a good film. I'm gonna check it out eventually, folks. I have it on my digital library thanks to Odin from one of his giveaways. But
which one?
The Marksman with Liam Neeson.
Oh, okay.
It's about him taking a immigrant up north to Chicago because cartel people are after him. Mm-hmm. I mean, it sounds like it's politically driven, but I mean, given the climate today, but I cannot make that call without seeing it. I mean, it could just be a plot point. That's it. But anyway, that is going to round up our Die Hard discussion, folks. And go ahead.
I was going to kind of go into what could be going on with Die Hard in the future. So when Disney bought the 20th Century properties, before the deal went through, 20th Century allowed them to go through everything in pre-production, in mid-production, post-production, all of that. And Disney went through and said, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. As in, continue it, don't continue it, don't start it, finish it, all of that. That's why we got the New Mutants. New Mutants was actually canned by 20th Century Fox, and Disney came out. Literally, I can't remember, this was before COVID, but I was reading online because I'd done a trailer reaction to New Mutants like a while back, and then I was going to go do another one because it was going to get released. But before the shutdowns, I had read something saying it's done, it's dead, it's not getting released, and they were scrapping the whole idea. 2 weeks later, I'm in the theater. There's a fucking trailer.
Oh wow!
I'm like, what the hell? So if you didn't like New Mutants, and I have not seen it yet, so I have no say in it. If you didn't like New Mutants, it's because Disney is trying to kill properties that they were trying to make their own. Marvel, for instance, anything that has to do with Marvel, they want to restart. They don't want to stop. They don't want to continue with somebody else's story. So they thought it was a crappy movie, but it was mostly done, they're like, free money, throw it out there, get it done. Because anything that was paid for, like that, like the New Mutants was finished, canned, ready to go out, that was 20th Century Fox's dime. As soon as it flipped over and Disney released it, it became their money. Everything was pure profit on that, for them. But okay, so Disney has essentially scrapped what was going to be Die Hard 6. And there was a lot of different things I heard about what it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But Bruce Willis has vehemently stood by the side that he wanted to be done after that one. If they do a sixth one, he wants to be out. He doesn't care if they keep going with his kids or if they just bring a new protagonist in. He said, I just want out. And they asked him several years ago, what did he want to do? And he says, I think it'd be really interesting to see a step-by-step process on how John became John. So he'd be thrust into a similar situation like Nakatomi or something like that. This was his idea.
Yeah.
That he would be thrown into a situation like that. But instead of showing him doing these things like, killing a guy or fighting a guy fist to fist, anything like that, what it would do is as soon as that scene started, he'd have a flashback to when it first happened to him. And then when that flashback was done and he had won the fight or whatever, or shot the guy, because he was hiding behind pillars or whatever, and he just finally shot the guy that was trying to get him, it would flash forward back where he was and the fight would be over. So basically the flashback was what was happening in the flash forward. It's just he's seeing his first experience, because now it's just muscle memory.
Yeah.
When I heard that, I was like, wow, that's really awesome. I like that. So Disney's talking about doing something called McClane, which is what I've read. If they do it, it's a reboot of Die Hard, but they wanted to do it with young McClane. So my idea is why not kind of do that? Get the young McClane, but use Bruce Willis in limited stuff, because he doesn't have to do the action scenes then. They did that flashback and you show basically what's going on in the future, in the past. I thought that was like a different idea. So I think that they could incorporate that still. And I think that whatever they do, they should incorporate Bruce Willis in a limited role on it, because Bruce Willis is this franchise. If you want to reboot it,
you got to have him in there.
A proper way to reboot it is not a full reboot. It's a soft reboot. Have him remembering the past or something, and then that's how you can do it. And then you go back and you use that same actor who is his young self and just go forward with some new adventures, and you find out that he's always had this problem. Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would like to see it. More and more these days, I love Harrison Ford. I love Indiana Jones. I don't hate 4. But then, he's getting hurt all the time on every damn set he steps on nowadays. These guys just need to back off and say, okay, if I want this to continue or if I want this to end, I got to say, done. We've done it all. I think they should have ended Indiana Jones in the third one. Perfect.
Yeah, it was called The Last Crusade for a reason.
Exactly.
Folks.
It was perfect. But they didn't. This one should have this series probably should have been done with Die Hard with Vengeance. Let him and Holly get back together, and that's it. He rides off in the sunset. Yippee-ki-yay.
Yep.
But it's really difficult when you have a property that's a proven commodity, and the latter 2 sequels of this movie franchise, to their credit, they have both, as far as I know, let me double check this. This one made $304 million out of a $92 million budget, which means it recouped its money.
Yeah, it's technically a success.
Yeah, technically. I mean, anytime you can triple your output or what it costs to make.
Yeah, because you got to take the budget and then go times 1.5, basically. So it's 90 plus 45, that would be 135. So
Mhm.
add 90 to 135, you get 225 million is basically what they would have to make to break even.
Yeah. So they made
And
about
they-
70,
Yeah.
50 to 70 more. Hold on. Let me see what the fourth one did. It was 388 on 110. So they did too. About the same.
Mhm.
But that's the thing. These movies, to their credit, different as they are from the original concept of Die Hard, are very much a success. And
Also,
yeah, go ahead.
also, if you look at what was going on during the time these movies were made, and I'm not talking about real life, I'm talking about movies in
Mhm.
general. What
Mhm.
other movies were coming out? What other 90s and
No.
80s action stars were
Mhm.
doing movies still? They were still
Well,
doing Rambo. They were
Yep.
still doing Rocky. They were
Mhm.
still doing freaking Terminator movies. They were trying to do Terminator movies.
Mhm.
And they freaking made 2 Terminator movies with an old Terminator, so it's like Jesus. But yeah, I mean, they were trying to reboot. They were trying to bring back the magic of the 80s and 90s.
Mhm.
In some
Well,
ways, they did, and
that's
in
what the
some ways, they didn't.
Expendables is all about. The
Yeah,
Expendables was an easy way to say, let's just profit off of these people loving these people. Willis, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, um,
for
oh
Jet
god,
Li, Dolph
Jet
Lundgren,
Li, yeah, all of these
Jason
guys. It's like,
Statham, all these guys who are like no
put them in
longer in
it.
their prime.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that it was a genius move. And now we're getting to the point that where they're talking about doing, what is it, fourth one now?
Oh my God, if they do a fourth one, they're basically going to be in wheelchairs shooting at people.
Well, then they're gonna have to start adding people like The Rock and
Yeah.
and
I mean, the third one was where they
Vin
basically
Diesel.
brought. Yeah, they were, or basically in the third one is where they brought in the new blood with the
Yeah, and that's
youngsters, or with freaking Kellen Lutz and
yeah.
freaking what's her name, Ronda Rousey and whatnot. And it's
Hey
like,
Tim, what's going on? Good to see you.
hey Tim, good to see you.
No, but okay. Are you interested in the sixth one? Let's go down that road. Really quick.
I
It's
would
Disney.
actually be as long as they don't do the stupidity that we all know. As long as they don't do that, I would actually be interested.
Disney needs to step away from itself, allow rated R movies, and when it's rated R, don't get involved in it. Let whoever's
Exactly.
doing it do what they gotta do. Um, I don't hate Disney. I understand the problems Disney has, but I don't think it's all Disney that has those problems. And I won't get into the whole political structure of SJW, race swapping, whatever. I'm not going to get into all of that. I don't have an issue with rebooting or remaking things as long as there's a reason for it and you do it properly, or you give respect to where it came from.
Yes.
And it's really difficult because they seem to lose their way in letting too many cooks in the kitchen. And that's probably what the biggest problem with SJWism is that everybody wants their say. Once you let one of them have their way, why'd you make Cinderella black in this one? Well, then I want Mexican, a Mexican prince. I want this, I want that, and then all of a sudden everybody's up in arms because I didn't get representation in this. And that's where it happens. It's like, okay, listen, if you want to change something like that, make sure it's the right actor, right actress. Make sure that that's not what bothers me. I don't know if I've talked about this with you. Nobody mentions the fact that in Scrooge, Claire that's his secretary, I think, right? The black lady.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Okay, so Claire is essentially Bob Cratchit,
Yeah.
a 30 to 40-year-old white man in London.
Yep.
That's the part she's playing, but it isn't that. She is a black lady who is obviously under the poverty level, lives next to the elevated train Her mom's living with her. She's raising her kids. Her dad's dead. Or not her dad, but her kids' dad is dead. All of this stuff. But nobody questions that it's a race swap and a gender swap all in one. Why?
Yep.
Because nobody in that movie tries to make it known. It's just, here you go. This is what you get. Go with it. It's never mentioned.
Exactly.
But that's exactly what that is. And that's where I say, I don't give a crap. Gender swap, race swap, do whatever. Just don't sit there and shove it in my face and make that the purpose of it.
Yeah, don't freaking make that the focus.
Yeah, so
tell the story.
Yep.
Not propaganda.
But I am looking forward to a 6 if they do it. And I hope if they do it, I don't care if they want to bring somebody in for young John McClane. Yeah. Keep Bruce Willis in it. That's your bread and butter of these films.
Yeah, basically have it like back in the day, this is what happened.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that'd be great. How about this? How about him and Holly aren't married anymore, but they're sitting around. They live close to each other. Yeah, they have grandkids. They're amicable. The kids are there, and they're starting to tell stories about things that have happened in Christmas, okay, or something like that. And he says, you know what? I really think it all started back, boom, and go way back.
Everybody knows about Nakatomi, but did you know about this?
Yeah. So I don't know, something like that. Kind of like the young Indiana Jones did when Ford did go on there, which is funny because Ford was playing an Indiana Jones that was much younger than the Indiana Jones he's playing currently.
I know, right?
Who knew? Oh my God! All right, Orange. Thank you again for having me on. I really appreciate you.
You're very welcome, Chris. But yeah, we are going to wrap that up, and thank you, Chris, for being a part of this and whatnot. And
I'm sorry I missed the last one. I really am.
Hey, it's okay, dude. Real life takes priority.
Doing this. Yeah, well, yeah, I know, but still. I'm looking forward to having some other conversations like this. Maybe sometime have you over on my channel to converse about movie series or something. I don't know. We'll talk, though.
Definitely. And again, folks, I do want to reiterate, like I did in the beginning of the stream, for those of you who are joining after the fact, I will not be streaming next week. I will probably not be doing any videos next week because I am going to be in the middle of a move. I mean, this is going to be a 3-tier move. I'm moving stuff from down here at my aunt's to up to where I'm moving. Then I got to move out of the place that I'm moving out of and into the new place. And it's going to be taking an awful lot of stuff. I got to reacclimate. I got to get all that stuff. Plus I got to make a lot of freaking calls. It's going to be a freaking doozy. So yes, I should have made most of those calls like this week, but I kind of got a little lazy. But yes, I just want to let you all know that is basically what's going to be happening. The next discussion streams are going to go over, because apparently the poll, even though it goes for 7 days, a lot of people overwhelmingly voted for Terminator. So we will be talking Terminator 1, Terminator 2, and yes, we will be going over Rise of the Machines, Salvation, Genesis, and Dark Fate.
I want in on that. I want in on that.
On the Terminator ones?
Yes, because I'm going to tell you what. Ready? Okay. This is your warning.
Mm-hmm.
Do not hate Genesis, and I do not hate Dark Fate.
I find some entertainment in Dark Fate. To be 100% honest, I do find a little bit of entertainment in Dark Fate.
And Salvation, I actually think was genius.
Salvation was genius, especially the director's cut.
Much better.
I like the book ending better because the book ending actually has it where John Connor did not get stabbed. But we'll discuss that in those things. So yes, we are going to be covering the Terminator movie. What? Woke Fate? Never mind. I'm busy that day. Terminator? Yeah,
then read.
Woke Fate. Yeah. Woke Fate. Never mind. I'm busy that day.
Then read the next one.
Chris and I are about to come to blows.
Bring it on, Ozzy. Bring it on. No, just sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So yes, I will be doing, or I'm going to have to figure out when I'm going to be able to do those. They're going to be later in the because the next or after next week, the very next 2 weeks are going to be the season 3 versus stream kickoffs with Lacey Lennon versus ScarJo, because Black Widow movies, both of them are being released on the 9th. So that one will actually be on a Saturday, that versus stream. And then the following Friday is going to be the Battle of the Buffys, Christy Swanson versus Sarah Michelle Gellar. And then I'll do, I'll kick off the Terminator discussion streams. So yeah, folks, that is going to be what's going on. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been freaking phenomenal, awesome fun. Thank you, Chris. Thank you to the others who talked on the streams. Price is Right and Caroline and AFK Bard, because she was part of last week. And thank you to everybody who has been a part of the discussion streams. You guys are all awesome. Thank you to all my followers and my viewers and my subs. You guys are really helping me out, keeping me coping with a lot of the problems that I have. If it wasn't for YouTube, I would be in a very dark place. And you guys are helping keeping it light. So thank you very much. And I absolutely adore and appreciate every single one of you guys. So yes, we're going to end it here. Thank you very much again to all of you guys. And we will see you on the next one. If you're catching this on the replay, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What did you like about A Good Day to Die Hard? Did you like it? Did you not? Pros, cons, all that stuff, folks. Anyway, this has been Orange Hat Reviews and Chris Knight. Have a good night. And always remember to stay humble. And this thing is now giving me problems. There we go. Now